Okay, we have earnings season starting on Tuesday with the banks reporting. In this week's video, we're going to recap what happened, Powell, everything that's going on to prepare you for earnings season. We will do a supplemental earnings season video midweek just to give you a little bit of a guide on how to approach it, because a lot of these names have run up into earnings, but more on that later. Okay, so let's just talk about the S&P. Well, let's go first with the rumors that are circling about Powell. Now, for those of you that are hearing that he may leave, he may not leave, the resignation has nothing to do with the administration, if it were to happen. Really, where the pressure is on Powell is that there has been reports, and he got grilled about this, about renovations to the Federal Reserve headquarters in DC. That's really where the pressure is on him. He got grilled about this. I think the renovations were something along the line of $2.5 billion, something like that. I think it was Representative Tim Scott, don't quote me on that, who said that basically the headquarters were redesigned to make it look like a palace. That's where Powell is feeling a lot of pressure. The Trump stuff and the Trump bashing and the administrative bashing, he doesn't care about that. It's really more this whole issue of these renovations that are really causing him a lot of problems. I would say the last person who was involved in this type of controversy that I can remember was John Thane over at Merrill Lynch. For those of you who don't remember, Merrill Lynch was basically the third domino to fall, or they got saved before they could fall. It was Bear Stearns went under, then Lehman went under, and Merrill was next. And Merrill ended up getting bought by Bank of America. You can go back into history and see it. However, one of the issues that came out was that John Thane had done a lot of renovations to his corporate offices in Merrill, and he took a lot of heat for it. I mean, a lot. He ended up paying back that he had spent. I think it wasn't billions, it was in the millions, but he ended up paying it back. It was a huge controversy, huge, because while Merrill was falling apart, company funds were being spent to create lavish corporate offices. So you can review that. And that's where I think Powell is feeling pressure. It's not so much from the administration. He doesn't care about that. It's more this controversy. Does he quit? Does he not quit? I don't know. I think the market's not, if he were to quit or resign, I don't think the market's ready for it. Whoever comes in and steps in, it doesn't matter. I don't think the market's ready for it. And that could technically cascade us lower. That could bring us back down to 5,900, 6,000 very easily in the SPY or the S&P, very easily. So the way you should look at this is take the S&P, go to all-time highs, which is 62, 90, 22, and just do increments of percents. So do 5%, 10%, 15, 20, just go in 5%, 2.5% increments to see where technically the market could land. Not so much on charts, because again, if somebody needs to move something, we've talked about this in the past, they're going to do it, but just be prepared. Where is 2.5%? Where is 5%, 7.5%, 10%, et cetera, et cetera. But I think if he were to leave and it to be a very unexpected and abrupt and just resign, I think the market probably ends up down here at the 50, without a question. Okay. We've run up into earnings. Again, I'm going to do a midweek earnings teaser, so to speak, but we've run up into it. So hanging out over here for a couple of days would make sense. Even if we pull back a little bit, that would make sense. S&P futures, last time I checked, we can check together. Let's just take a look. We're down 21. So we're holding 8-day. We're not really doing much. So just something to keep in mind. Okay. Let's just go quickly. NDX, again, a lot. I've said it in the S&P, they're going to look the same. A lot of these things are just going to look the same. So I'm not going to regurgitate the same information. If you want, you could rewind it because I don't want to waste your time. Okay. We're not going to go into individual names now as much because at the end of the day, earnings are here. So because of that reason, a lot of these things are going to be very much earnings specific. So just we're going to go quickly financials because they're reporting this week. JP Morgan had a big run up. It's holding. Could it take this out? Sure. I'm saying it's just, again, it's earnings. So because of earnings, you just look at this. Citi, same kind of deal. Bank of America looks a little bit worse than Citi and JP Morgan. Wells Fargo looking strong. Goldman looking strong. Morgan Stanley looking strong. So a lot of these names have had real strong moves into earnings. So don't be surprised if they pull in on earnings. Again, it could be very much a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. Also, do not be shocked, and we're going to talk about this in the earnings preview. Don't be shocked if something opens up. Let's say, for example, we have Morgan up here. If it opens up at 146 and sells off the entire day, don't be shocked by that either. Okay, we could have that type of situation going into this earnings season. Okay, just going to go through a couple of names just quickly. NVIDIA obviously hit $4 trillion market cap. Congratulations. Big run. I wouldn't be chasing this up here. I'm going to keep it more sector. Go to the XLE. XLE, obviously oil was moving up this week. Wasn't rip roaring, but it was. So a lot of these companies were moving forward. OH, same kind of situation. OH looks better than the XLE. Let's just look quickly at the XLP. Also looking pretty good. Again, a lot of them are moving just based off of what oil's doing. Okay. Is oil rip roaring to the upside? Most certainly not. Is it falling out of bed? No. But it's kind of holding. So these companies are holding. So the ETFs are holding. IBB, holding in relatively okay. We're coming into this wall now. So we're probably going to stopping over here and pulling back does make sense. We're quickly at the XBI. Also, same kind of situation. We did break through it a little bit. We'll see if it builds out and then continues. Again, I'm keeping it very, very esoteric and not company specific because, again, we have earnings coming. So I'll do that preview and that will make a little bit more sense. Just look quickly at one couple of names on more of a micro level. Dash had a big run. Now it's just chilling, not really doing much. Palantir, again, big run. Now it's kind of just chilling. It's up, down. It's getting a little bit harder up here. Again, a lot of these things, when they've had these huge runs and they got to start relaxing and digesting, they get complicated. What's interesting is that the market is going up despite Apple. Apple is down here. And I know we did this last week, this comparison, we'll do it again. Look at Microsoft, and Microsoft is up here. Microsoft is pretty much the gift that keeps on giving. That's really what it is. Microsoft is probably the best looking chart on everything. It's even better than NVIDIA. You're going to say, we told you, they're both going the same way. No, they're not. Microsoft is closed at the highs and doing well. NVIDIA had an inverted hammer after having a hammer. This is a lot of indecision over here. So we could pull back in NVIDIA, whereas Microsoft is way, way, way cleaner. Look at that. Much, much cleaner. Okay. So if it's working, stay with what is working. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Okay. Look at just quickly at Broadcom. Oops. Also just chilling. We'll just look at the SOX. SOX is moving. Again, it's not rip roaring. Let me go to the SMH. Go to the SMH. Kind of the same sort of pattern, somewhat of NVIDIA, which obviously makes sense because NVIDIA is the biggest holding. Again, it's earnings season. There are trades to be had, but just be very careful and know when your companies are reporting. We'll do a more in-depth detail when we do an earnings preview. I'm going to do it after financials close. We'll just do quickly where they are. They're looking pretty good. So just be very careful. Wait to buy. If you're looking to buy financials, wait. Let them report. Let that get out of the way. Do not, under any circumstances, buy these things as a trade ahead of earnings. If you're doing it as an investment, I would also tell you to wait. Don't trade in front of binary events. Just wait for the smoke to clear. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.